Welcome to the Mary Ewing Law Show.
Hello and welcome to the Mary Ewing Law Show. Mary is a highly respected attorney with more than 40 years of legal experience. She founded her law firm in Englewood, Colorado, and represents clients across the state in personal injury, family law, and workers' compensation cases. Known for her straight talk and compassionate advocacy, Mary is here to help you understand your rights and take smart steps forward. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're talking about something many people face: getting hurt in a car accident, what you do next, and how do you protect yourself. This is You've Been Hurt in a Car Accident. What do you do now? Mary, my dear, welcome. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing just great, thank you. It's nice to be here and nice to have a chance to talk to everybody.
I'm glad you're here to talk with us and let us know all this information that we can use. What you've been practicing law for over 40 years. Can you tell us a bit about your background and the kind of cases that you've handled?
Sure, be happy to. I handle uh, personal injury cases that include professional negligence, slip and fall, auto accidents, workers' compensation cases. I also handle divorce and a small amount of employment litigation. My background is I graduated from the University of Denver College of Law. I later went on several years later to actually teach at the law school. And I really enjoyed that, had a great experience. But while I was teaching, I was still practicing law with a firm. I went on to become the name partner in several firms, then going out on my own and starting a firm. And that's where I am now.
Amazing. So getting to what you do, if someone has just been in a car accident, maybe even today, so to speak, what's the very first thing they should do?
Well, the first thing they should do is think about, do they have injuries? How am I doing? Am I okay? Should I really, the best thing is to just sit there for a moment and get your wits about you. You might have had a little bit of a concussion. You might have some injuries that you weren't even quite aware of yet. You want to maintain your own body and concern about yourself first.
Mhm.
If everything is at least where you can take care of a few things, be sure to call the police first. You want an investigating officer, whether it's the police or the sheriff, to come out to investigate the accident so that it's documented what has happened. Um, if you are able, then get out of the car and take photographs of yourself, do
Mhm.
selfies, take photographs of the inside and outside of your car, of the accident scene, um, take a screenshot of the uh, other car that's involved, the license plate, so that you can document who it was that hit you. Sometimes they leave. You don't have a chance after that. So those are the initial things to do.
So Miss Mary, even if the crash seems minor and you kind of mentioned speaking to the police, why is it still important to call the police and get a report, even if you feel the accident wasn't that big a deal?
Well, sometimes you don't realize that you have significant injuries. You can go on to have rather significant uh, head injuries, concussions, neck, back, and you want the police officer to be there, or when I say police officer, I'm including sheriffs, to document where the cars were, to document what the adverse driver says, they may take photographs, they may take down information whether there were any skid marks. Those are all important things to take care of.
You talk about the pictures and maybe taking a selfie, but can you speak to the people about the importance about getting these pictures or getting witnesses' names at the scene, and how can that help you moving forward?
Again, it all has to do with whether you have an injury that is going to be something that you are going to need to pursue, either through an attorney or against the adverse driver. So you want to be able to document who is at fault,
Hmm.
getting the names and addresses of witnesses, as I said, taking photographs, maybe even videoing if the adverse driver is willing for you to do that, what he has to say.
What if you're not able to take a picture? What if you, let's say, like, what if you lose your phone? What if your phone's broken? What would you think an alternative method would be?
Many cars these days have are equipped with cameras in them that can at least document some of the information. You could take notes. You could write down what the adverse driver says, what his insurance company is, just to have some notes to refresh your memory, the names and addresses of witnesses.
So when should a person go to a doctor? What if they didn't feel hurt right away, but you kind of mentioned that people don't know if they're hurt, but when would you recommend them going to that doctor?
As soon as there is something that's not right, if
Mhm.
they feel a little dizzy, if they're headachy, if their body hurts, get on down to some form of medical facility, whether it's an urgent care or an emergency room. Or if you have a family doctor, just calling that family doctor and getting in to see him or her.
But what if the person doesn't have health insurance? Can they still get medical care in that moment? Or what if they're worried about a bill? What if they're scared about how much they'll pay? You know what I mean? Like, and they avoid the doctor.
Well, sure, those are important questions. Many people have what's called MedPay under their own insurance company, and that coverage will pay up to, it's usually not very much, 5,000, 10,000, but it'll pay something. So check out your own auto insurance. Again, if it's a total wash, in Colorado, we have Denver General Hospital, Colorado, University of Colorado, that take some form of charitable or low cost medical care. Certainly, if you have significant injuries, get to the nearest hospital because they have to take you and figure out who's going to pay for it later.
In your experience, do you have any examples of a case where something happened like that when a person took the proper steps and maybe kind of made things easier for them during an accident that they maybe thought, they wouldn't, they probably didn't think an outcome would help them, but taking these proper steps that you mentioned, do you have a case like that you can think of?
Well, so often people are involved in a collision and they perhaps don't call me right away, and that's okay. But they don't get the benefit of my advice as to what to do. So they may just go home. A lot of guys just go home and tough it out. They don't go to the
Mhm.
doctor. They think, I'll get better. I'll just rest. And that makes it harder. Then an insurance company is always going to say, well, if you were so hurt, why didn't you go to a doctor right away? Well, at least if I get called by them, I can say, hey, this is not the time to tough it out. Get yourself down to a hospital or an emergency room or your family doctor or whatever you have. Get down to a, a doctor who can document your injuries. And that happens so often where I have somebody that does that. And then we're okay. We can show that they went home. They could give that history. Hey, I went home. I was trying to see if I could feel better. I called my boss, said I wouldn't be in that day, stayed home for a couple of days. But then I talked to you, Mary, and I realized I better get down to the doctor. And guess what? I have some significant injuries.
So a lot of people wonder if they should talk to the insurance company right away. But what is your advice when it comes to how a person should kind of, go about talking to insurance people?
Start with the premise that insurance companies are designed, organized, if you will, to take in premiums and pay out claims. But obviously, they want to pay out as few claims or the lowest amount that they can. So they're going to be looking to take a statement right away. We have some a law in Colorado that at least protects the anything that any statement that's taken. I think it's three days can't be used. That's important, but generally speaking, it's best to say to an insurance company that calls, hey, I'm not sure how I am. I don't feel really up to talking to you right now. Let me get back to you. So don't feel like you have to talk to them. There's nothing that says you have to talk to them right away. Get your wits about you. Think about what you're going to say. And perhaps you want to talk to an attorney before you talk to an insurance company.
So, Ms. Mary, what's the biggest mistake you see people make after a crash, and how can they avoid that mistake?
Two things: not calling for an investigating officer to come out, and not seeking medical attention right away.
Mm. So, like, and why do you think that is? I mean, you talked about from the male perspective, because I'm a dude. I know how we are. We try to, we always act we're tough. But why do you feel that is, like, as far as overall? Why do you feel people don't do that? Do you feel it's a lack of knowledge? Do you think it's fear? Why do you think those are the mistakes that people make?
Most think of it this way: you're on your way to work. You have allowed the regular amount of time, but the traffic is kind of heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in line at a stoplight, and all of a sudden, bam, you get rear-ended. Just what you need. Just what you need. And so now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late for work. What am I going to do? I need to get out of here as soon as I can. I don't want to call the police. It'll probably be an hour before they get here. I don't want to go to the doctor right now. I got to get to work. My boss is going to be on my case if I'm not there. That's the wrong attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a significant problem that you didn't cause, wasn't your fault. So pick up your cell phone, call your boss and say, hey, I'm really sorry, but you won't believe what happened, and I'm going to be late for work. I hope you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Most bosses are going to understand that and understand that there's certain things that you need to do, which is get the accident investigated and get yourself treated.
Awesome. Miss Mary, thank you so much for your time and the information. And thank you all for listening to today's episode of the Mary Ewing Law Show. If you've been in a car accident in Colorado, don't guess your way through the process. Miss Mary Ewing can help you understand your rights and get the help you need. To connect with Mary, visit maryewinglaw.com or call 303-761-1400. And if this episode helped you, please share, subscribe, and like, and give this information to someone else that might find it helpful. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.